What's up? My name is Javin, and I serve as a campus pastor at Calvary Chapel in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And today's verse is from Matthew chapter 2, verses 10 and 11. It says this: "When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. And on coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh." Obviously, this is talking about the wise men who visited Jesus. And contrary to many nativity sets today, the wise men likely showed up later on in Jesus' life when he was about a toddler. Now, there's 4 words that stood out to me as I read this. The first word is the word overjoyed. The wise men were likely searching for this newborn king for months or a year, and they were overjoyed when they found him. You would have been too. The second word that stood out to me is treasures. They gave to Jesus out of something that mattered to them. Their own treasury, their own storehouses is what they presented their gifts from. Which leads us to the third word, that word gifts. There's 3 gifts that we see, which is why we believe that there were likely 3 wise men who showed up that day. And whether they knew it or not, their gifts were foreshadowing who Jesus was. The first gift was the gift of gold, which was always associated with royalty. They were showing Jesus is king. The second gift was the gift of frankincense, which is always associated with deity. They were showing Jesus is God. The third one, the gift of myrrh, is a bit of a wild card. It doesn't quite fit with the others because it's always associated with death and burial. And they were foreshadowing what Jesus would do to pay for our sins at the cross. Now, the fourth word that stood out to me is probably the most important thing that those wise men could have brought Jesus: their worship. It says they fell down on their face and they worshiped Jesus. And we can learn from this today. Jesus is always worthy of our worship, isn't he? So wherever season of life you're in right now, whatever's going on in your day, take a minute to pray silently, to sing praises to God when you're driving in the car, and to worship him because he is always worthy of it.